Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining in. It's amazing to see everyone here. Welcome to the Africa Wellness Initiative on the Global Wellness Institute platform. We're so happy to be here, and we're so happy to be having the support of the Spa and Wellness Association of Africa, who is powering this as well on the back end and in all our pillars. So we have a very fantastic program for you today with some amazing speakers who we've invited to this panel, who will be discussing the pillar wellness tourism. So the topic for today is African wellness tourism. Now, just to give you a bit of a background before we dive in to who our speakers are, the Africa Wellness Initiative aims to promote African wellness through strengthening wellness institutions, training, and human resource development. Together with the Global Wellness Institute, we aim to build a database of wellness operators, practitioners, and indigenous skills for the benefit of Africa and the global wellness industry. The AWI will also help record and develop some of its unique skills and indigenous knowledge by promoting a culture of African-inspired knowledge. So this is key to the continent, and the initiative will include innovative use and promotion of indigenous African plants, robust programs and events to build up strong education and entrepreneurial spirit within the African spa and wellness industry, as well as help strengthen industry terms of standards and accreditation within Africa. So our mission is to increase and promote wellness destinations and access through wellness communities, resources for services, delivery, and investments in wellness tourism. So I just want to start by welcoming our panel, who we have here. My name is Elaine, and I am the co-chair of the AWI and founder of the AWI on the Global Wellness Institute. And today I have also got with me Lisa. Lisa is one of our committee members, and Lisa has also been with us for a while. She's a researcher at the Lausanne University of Applied Sciences and Arts in Switzerland. And Lisa has been working very closely over the years with me and her students, her amazing students, on several research programs that they've presented at our annual conference. And it's just been amazing. And Lisa has obtained her master's degree in health management in the tourism sector, with a focus on comprehensive knowledge in areas of wellness, tourism, management, public health, health management, and health promotion, and loads more. She is amazing. Lisa is here, and you're going to hear from her later. I've also got my co-moderator, Denzel. Hi, Denzel. Hi. Denzel is the founder and director of Denzel Phillips International and AMPS, which is the African Medicinal Plants Association. And Denzel is currently based in Barbados, and his global associates specialize in design and implementation of sustainable commercial projects in the field of medical and aromatic plants and related botanicals. We place special emphasis on linkages between conservation, and that's what they do. And AMPS is a non-profit organization dedicated to the development of quality control for African medicinal aromatic plants, which a lot of spas use as well when they're developing products or wellness healthcare centers. Then we've also got Ola Wright, all the way from West Africa. Ola Wright is the CEO of the West Africa Tourism Organization. We're so happy to have you here today. This organization, WATO, is a travel and tourism organization dedicated to develop and promote tourism in West and Central Africa. And it's become very devoted to the course and growth of all activities. And Ola has become a beacon of hope to those who have come to benefit and appreciate her positive contributions in building the sector. Her experience in business or company ownership and management consulting and administration stretches longer than 25 years. And she is also an outstanding professional and dedicated to bringing the best of each project she becomes a part of, and is an exemplary woman. So she has also consultancy services emerged in tourism and is a guru within that. So we look forward to hearing more about her today. We've also got Susan Ongalo. Hi, Susan. She is the Chief Executive Officer at the Kenya Tourism Federation. I have to make that correction. And she has been there and is, this is the umbrella body, correct me if I'm wrong, for the private sector in tourism, charged with advocacy for a conducive business environment for tourism sector. And Susan bags a wealth of work experience with over 12 years in tourism and hospitality. And her professional achievement is in public relations and business management. By training, she has over years added to her knowledge in advocacy, project management, customer relations, disaster management, and marketing. She's been very instrumental as well to the Secretary Administrative Department in Kenya Tourism Federation, as well as oversees the Operation Safety and Communications Center. She also serves on several boards in the tourism sector, and has done that for Tourism Fund Board till date, and also the Kenya National Convention Bureau and the East African Tourism Platform. So welcome, Susan. Yeah, and we've also got BC. I'll just go through BC as soon as she joins. BC is a healthcare practitioner and lifestyle consultant licensed in the state of Maryland, USA, and has been practicing medicine for over 15 years. Dedicated and passionate about promoting the importance of living a healthy lifestyle through preventative medicine and wellness travel while connecting wellness to Africa. She's worked over the years, spans 4 different countries, and gains her inspiration through travel. She's the founder of AJO Wellness Group, a boutique wellness travel company that curates lifestyle retreats in the most beautiful destinations in Africa, creating a safe space for women to reflect, reconnect, and rejuvenate. And she's also obtained her medical degree from Howard University in Washington, D.C., and has a master's in healthcare administration from the University of Maryland in the US. So welcome, everyone. I hope you're all sitting well and ready to start. We have Denzel, do you want to say a few words before I dive in with the first questions, or how do you feel? You're on mute.
Yes, Elaine and I go back a very long way, so I don't want to. And I am an advisor to her wonderful SWA, and also we do a lot of things together. So I'm, I like to think of myself a little bit as her conscience and a bit as her spa partner in many different things. So just like to welcome everybody, and I will be, asking a few provocative questions, because that's what I like to do, and that's what I'm good at. Like people sometimes listen to what I have to say. So welcome, everybody.
Yes, and Denzel does get to it, so don't shy away from his provocative questions. So I would like to start with the first question, which is, if you could tell us, this is for the panel, of course, we'll go around everyone. So tell us about the evolution of wellness tourism in Africa. All right, maybe we start with you about the evolution of wellness tourism and what you can tell us about West Africa and what's happening. Okay, so you'll unmute, yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah, there it is.
Perfect. Now we can hear you.
So, yeah. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm actually not a wellness expert or practitioner. I'm a tourism expert and practitioner. So now, when we're talking about wellness tourism, obviously there's, I mean, if we look around, generally there's an increase of, wellness awareness. Everyone these days is actually getting conscious of what they, put in. Everyone now realizes that, oh, if you do this, it's probably going to have this, effect on you. You need to eat right, eat well, or at least we try to. Some of us try to. Some of us are still, developing in that area. Now, when we think, I mean, what is tourism really? Tourism is the movement of people from one place to another, and they stay and they, spend time, spend, money, etc. So when we now merge this together, our wellness tourism is, people traveling from one place to another for wellness or for, realization of well-being, I'll put it. Now this is kind of like, really been on the rise, well, globally. Africa in this area, I would say we're still kind of like, lagging behind slightly, and I'm talking about the entire, continent of Africa. And I'd actually even like to hear what, my dear friend, Susan, would have to say, at least, coming from her side. And I think in the entire continent of Africa, we probably have, in my opinion, I would say that South Africa is probably, making a headway, probably way ahead, any other African country. And we're talking about, African wellness. However, I mean, when Elaine contacted me, I don't remember the first time she contacted me, actually. The first time I was like, oh, this is actually something that, is being on my mind, and is actually something that I have spoken about within our organization that we need to really look into and kind of like, try to push and encourage and help, people to develop within, our sub-region, West Africa. Now, Africa has, I always say we have everything, and literally, trust me, when we do have everything. We have the, landscape, etc. So, but we haven't really quite actualized. It is actually, it's becoming an evolution globally. I don't think, it's quite that in Africa yet. However, we do have everything necessary for it to become an evolution. People are waking up, and I'm going to touch on some things. And I'm actually very happy that, someone from Sao Tome and Principe is here, because I see notes in the chat box, so because I am going to, really touch on, Sao Tome and Principe a lot, because when we're talking about wellness, tourism, this, this is just really an epitome of a destination for wellness tourism. So I don't think, for West Africa, definitely, in terms of wellness tourism, yes, even our tourism is just, growing, but it's not quite an evolution yet as well as a destination, as a region or as a sub-region. And I don't think, wellness tourism, on the continent, on the continent of Africa generally, is a revolution yet. It is becoming a revolution globally, but not quite, in Africa, when we, look at the main definition of tourism and wellness.
Okay, that's interesting. So Africa has everything that we can use to get there, but we're not quite there. Susan, what do you say to this?
Thank you very much for this, and thank you, Ola, for setting the pace. My take to this is that probably Africa has been doing wellness tourism, or just wellness, let's not bring tourism to it, but just wellness, but without knowing exactly what it was, because from time immemorial, people will take time just to groom themselves, or maybe do spa, or maybe just meditate. And in my view, that fits into the wellness. But probably it's been happening, but we had not put a name to it. That's my take. But the evolution, as I'm bringing to the floor, is that it has been happening since when our forefathers probably went to the mountain just to meditate, or just to reflect on what has been happening. And if someone probably will be recovering from some Malays, maybe they'll go and for a retreat and just be taken care of and in the process of recuperation. So I think we've been doing it not knowing what to call it. And I'll put it to this, that some notable wellness tourism activities, as has been practiced, include probably yoga, the spa, the boarding and lodging, the retreats and all, just to get away. Even sometimes at work, even leave sometimes can fall in that category, because you've been working and you become, your mind is plugged and you become packed, and you need to retreat to get away from the hustle and bustle so that you can rejuvenate and you can have some reinvigoration in yourself. Also, bringing it now into tourism, we realize the tourism facilities or tourism activities that have been evolving over time, where people will go purely for just the wellness part of it, but they'll tour, they'll experience, and the experiential tourism is also tied into wellness. So, and I'll also then quickly tie it to medical tourism, because people are moving from other countries to go to other countries for treatment or for medical care. But while they are there, they are taking an extra step to go out and experience nature that can actually aid in their recuperation. So that will be my take on the evolving of the wellness tourism. Thank you.
That's great. So just to ask Susan, do you feel that, because you mentioned bringing wellness into tourism, do you feel that people are booking now their trips to these wellness destinations in Africa based on the fact that they know they will get that wellness treatment? Do you?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, I would say yes, because just before we started the session, I was going through some things on my computer, and I realized there's allow me just to check on it. There's a property in Kenya actually that had advertised exclusive wellness safaris. That is over Easter. So I could tell from that one that already it's happening. So people are booking, and they're probably just putting together a package, not the normal safari package, but a package to take care of the wellness part of the tourism. And also in Nyeri recently, there's a lady who does organize groups for yoga, for meditation, and just to go around the trail and do nature and listen to the birds singing. So yes, I would say there's the wellness tourism is coming to play in Africa.
Okay, thank you. And so I don't know if BC is here. If she's not, then I'll just go to Lisa. Lisa, what is your take on this evolution, and obviously through the research you've found?
Well, thank you very much. And I have to say, I actually agree with both of my colleagues, Ola and Susan. Everything you said is correct. We also believe because I live in Europe, but still we do research in Africa. I believe that you have the potential, because when we see everything what happened the last years, also due to the COVID pandemic, people want to be healthy. They realize that little things, as Susan said, just going for a walk or maybe reading a book, or I don't know, go for a swim, go in a spa, it helps, and it's preventive. And I think you all have the potential in whole Africa, I believe. Of course, some countries are more evolved yet. For example, South Africa, they are quite leading as far as I can tell. However, when we also see here in Switzerland, for example, we try to work with the natural resources we already have. And Africa has a lot of natural resources they can use. You just have to find a way how you can make it maybe also profitable, of course, and that you can reserve it and keep it sustainable. So I think you're on a good way in Africa, and I think there's a huge potential. And also here in Europe, you can see that a lot more people are actually wanting to go to Africa and do a wellness trip, do a yoga treat, or go on I also saw that a couple of months ago, the safari trip Susan was talking about. I saw the same. It's getting noticed. And I also saw a research paper from South Africa Tourism where they said that actually people are more and more booking also online. So whatever you're doing it right, I think.
That's amazing, Lisa. I mean, through your research as well, we found lots of people wanting, as you said, to come to Africa, and getting those packages ready is key, but also being able to highlight where they can find them, which leads me to my next question. And that is, why has the African wellness media been undervalued for so long? Because you mentioned that you read that article, and others, but I know quite a few people who haven't seen it. So how do we get that wellness media further out on the continent? Lisa, that's to you.
That's a very good question. I think you always have to first think about who do you really, or like, who is your target group? Which kind of people do you want to come to Africa? Do you want real wellness guests who just come for wellness? Or do you want guests who like do the wellness to an addition? So they like purchase more or spend more and travel through the whole country. So I think you have to really focus on your target group, and then also maybe go on social media. So for example, Facebook for maybe a little bit older people, or like old, that's no offense with old, but you know what I mean, maybe not between 20 or 30, maybe so 40 upwards. Or maybe also try Instagram. I believe that with the people between 20 and 30 years, Instagram, most of the people see a destination there, and then they start Googling, and then they start booking.
Correct. And Ola, have you noticed that on on your side of Africa? Does that happen in West Africa? You're on mute, sorry. Yeah. I'll just try and, yes.
Thanks. Yeah. So next, yeah, just always, now I can't see myself, but then I want to believe that you can see me. So so I'm just gonna, continue talking anyhow.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, when you're talking about, the media hasn't really, going to becoming more popular, however you actually put the question, you have to think, the media will only propagate, what is very interesting to them, what they, probably benefit from. Now, if people do not realize that, oh, this is a thing, and the thing is, before we can really propagate, I mean, I heard Lisa saying that, kind of like, promoting, and probably putting on Instagram, etc. But there's actually a fair bit of work that has to be done before anything like that can work, if you want the tourism to work. Now, the reason why the two of you, I mean, I actually came across just today, just I was actually in between a meeting today. I just thought, oh, for the first time, it never really occurred to me to probably try and, Google it, as we say, or whatever. But I kind of just, put, oh, let me see what this is saying. And I did, come up with some things, including even some academic research, work, etc. But that is only because you searched for that specifically. And you searched for it specifically because the academias, have actually, researched on it, seeing that, oh, this is actually becoming a thing. Let us, research about it. And I mean, I actually didn't get time to kind of like really delve into it and actually really read. However, before it can really get into any form of thing where it becomes, a major thing. And this is why I said it is not a revolution yet in Africa. When you say something is a revolution, you think, oh, Dubai is a revolution. All of a sudden, they kind of like purposely built whatever, made a lot of noise, whether it totally became a revolution around the world. That is a revolution. If we're talking about, something that's, yes, everyone, is really getting into it, talking about whatever, that is what we call a revolution. If we're just kind of like still starting, then it's not a revolution. And this is why I said we have everything. We have it all in abundance. And we'll probably get to, some of the, points, because I mean, we have the landmarks, plenty of them. We have the nature, we have the weather, we have everything. We have the herbs, we have the, plants. Do you understand? So we have all those things necessary and needed for what we're talking about. And we do have, people that, have seen the areas and think, oh, this is perfect for this. and they've actually been going there. So there are now tours because, a handful of people or some people now realize that, oh, I'm personally interested in this, and this is something that we need to, work with and we need to do. So, those people are now putting on tours because it's there in abundance. But, we need to make sure that it is, we need to think about standards, etc. Then when all of these things, for example, now ecotourism, you will actually find more media talking about ecotourism than probably talking about wellness, tourism, which is probably, somehow linked or related in some ways, in a little way, but the thing is, you now have, ecotourism now is becoming a revolution because a lot is now being done, a lot is being developed. People are talking about it a lot, but it's always been there. We've always had it. The site has always been there. So that is my take on that.
No, I really like what you said about the academic research needs to happen, because that sort of then propels, the rest to form. And that is when, as you mentioned, we have these platforms, and, that's why they can come together, and they need to come together on platforms. And I think this is a very important point for us at the Africa Wellness Initiative at the Global Wellness Institute to highlight, that, we will be needing more media relations in regards to how do we promote Africa wellness tourism, because as Ola just said, it's a bit late. Wellness has been going on for a while now, but we're still not promoting. I was at a summit once, and someone said to me, how come we don't have any information or magazine that highlights South African wellness destinations and spas? And this was a South African asking that question. So that also was something we had to look at our organization to see, well, what can we do to support that information? But I think this has to come on a much bigger scale. And of course, to what Lisa said in regards to the social media that works. So Denzel, I will hand over the floor to your questions now. Yes, go ahead, Denzel.
Yeah, my questions are related very much to what you're saying, but with more focus on some of the ethical issues. So I'm going to take my first two questions and stick them together, partly to save time and partly because they're related. Worldwide, I live in Barbados, I live in the Caribbean, so I've worked in Africa and I've lived in Africa, so I can see we're we've been through all these discussions way before, many years before. We've been through a lot of issues. What is wellness tourism? And so you in Africa, you may say, it's all been there, and it has all been there. And you also need to realize that there's a lot of spin around this industry, which is good if it can create jobs. But if there are questions asked as to, is this really wellness tourism? What is wellness tourism? I think Africa needs to think about what does it believe wellness tourism. It shouldn't be the same as what I believe as a European necessarily, or what an Indian nation. And I think there is a danger. Somebody said, oh, we saw an advert saying that there was a safari, wellness safari. Is that real? What is the difference between that safari and another safari that makes it a wellness safari? We need to get some grip on that, because if it's nothing but words in a piece of paper on an Instagram page, we've done nothing, and we've actually degraded the industry. So I think that's a very important thing, that Africa doesn't just jump on the bandwagon, say, oh, everybody else is in wellness tourism, so we've got to be in wellness tourism, when we don't have a product that is truly African. So I think, I know Elaine and I debate this. So that's my first question. And the other one, which is related to that, is within the industry, there is a huge, almost like a fight between medical tourism and wellness tourism. It is not always considered the same. The people who push and invest in medical tourism, building hospitals, getting people to have their cosmetic surgery done in another country, often don't see your wellness tourism is the same thing at all. So I want to put those two things together in the sense that you in Africa need to think quite hard about, you know, what is for you wellness tourism? What is the
So Denzel, what is the
and-
question? What is the
so-
question to the
so
panel?
the question for the panel is, what do you believe is this wellness tourism? What is that industry for you as an African? And I'm obviously interested in Ola and Susan particularly to answer that, because they are representing this.
Okay, Susan, do you want to go
Anybody?
first? I can see we've got BC as well. Welcome, BC. Thanks for joining. So we'll just start with Susan.
Thank you very much, and thank you for that question. And coincidentally, I had done a comparison of medical tourism, Africa wellness. I had put food and nutrition and Africa traditional lifestyle. So just coincidentally, but I would say it's important, just like tourism has been defined, and I think it was defined after research was carried out. So research is important so that you're able to place concepts in a place where then you can have a clear definition of a term. So tourism having been described as under the UNWTO, where someone travels from their normal location to another location and spends a night. So that is tourism. And then they could travel for many reasons. So there comes the niche for wellness tourism, because truth be told, and as Phillips has said, the African especially has not, even to date, really quite understood the tourism by itself. They think tourism is for somebody else out there. So it has not sunk home that actually tourism is our day-to-day lifestyle. So then you bring in the concept of wellness, then throws everything out in disarray. So I think wellness tourism, as much as I said, is existing, but it needs to be packaged and needs to be put together and explained. And that is the only time, then I bring in the media aspect, is the only time that people will understand and then start marketing and packaging such wellness combined with tourism, because tourism is moving, not going to sea. Tourism is moving from your normal location to another location. I'll bring in the wellness, as I had said earlier. You'll be on leave and you've been in the house. If you're on leave and you're in the house, I do not take that as wellness tourism. It is get out and go to another location. Just by, they say a change is as good as a rest. Just moving from your normal location, going to another location, that it just gets you to feel like you're resting. So where Africa wellness tourism mainly involves fitness and exercise and spas, according to what the little definition that I could find. And it combines the nature part of it and the meditation, the beauty. You could see, like recently I was in Namibia and we went to this place that no one needed to say anything. It was just, wow. So just go out there and feel it for yourself, engage your mind, your body, your soul, and everything. So that is how I describe wellness. So where we stand is that slowly by slowly, maybe benchmark, because South Africa is already up on wellness tourism. Morocco is, Egypt is. So we need probably to have such discussions as we are having now, so that the rest of Africa then can come and understand what the other people are already doing under the wellness and the tourism, and how to bring that into amalgamation. Thank you.
Great answer. BC, we haven't heard from you, so I thought you should get a chance to answer that question as well, because I know you're very much in the business. Could you give us your view on that? Did you hear my question? I'm assuming you did. Is she there?
I think BC is came in while the question was being answered. So maybe we'll move to Ola.
Ola, yeah, then okay, Ola. Yeah, she's not.
Yeah,
Ola,
I think, yeah, I mean, I was nodding, you know, as Susan was speaking, that we're actually just still, you know, getting a grip of this tourism thing. You know, now you're not bringing, you know, wellness to it, and it throws everything out. That is just totally true. And I mean, absolutely, there's of course, I mean, in the Caribbean, I mean, and I wouldn't really say also, you see, now this is where my take is. There are lots of spa resorts and hotels and all, even spa resorts, and we have plenty of them in Africa, right? But that is not wellness tourism. Because I mean, if we, well, that is if we're adding the tourism. So if we're talking about tourism and we're saying wellness tourism, it needs to, involve someone leaving the normal place, and I said, and traveling, going elsewhere and staying there, spending the money they're staying there, but for the purpose of wellness. So if that is not the thing, then it's not wellness tourism, because we have spa resorts in abundance, and also in the Caribbean. But in the Caribbean as well, I mean, I don't think there's actually anything or a lot built for wellness tourism. You have in St. Lucia, in this, a resort like the Body Resort, fantastic, and they've been there for some years. So they kind of like specialize. I mean, it's actually wellness. So you go there, I'm traveling there for wellness. So that is wellness tourism. But then you have a lot of different spa resorts. You have places like Ans Chasnet, Ans Chasnet is my domain. So I mean, it's a spa, whatever, but it is not wellness tourism. So let us not mix this up. But the thing is, now going back to your question, that the difference again, between medical tourism and wellness tourism. I mean, we have medical tourism. People build that is based on mainly pharmaceutical, treatments. So so people travel for treatments, and that is kind of like really on the rise as well. That is actually another one, really on the rise. You do have places that build in hospitals specifically for tourists, for medical tourists, coming in. So you go specifically for treatment. Now, my understanding of wellness tourism will be, you're not necessarily sick or ill or whatever, and you're not necessarily going for treatments. You might be going for treatments, but you're going, it's a well-being. So it's actually for your well-being, to rejuvenate, do you understand, to refresh, to kind of like really come back alive. So that is what wellness tourism. So you're not necessarily sick or ill, and you're also preventing being sick or being ill, because you now need to eat right, get the right foods in, be in the right atmosphere. Do you understand? Breathe well, etc. So in my opinion, that would be the difference. And I would actually say that a lot of people that practices wellness tourism does not necessarily believe in pharmaceutical treatments. So that is so they more believe in more of indigenous, more of natural and indigenous ways, which is what I said earlier, that we have in abundance in Africa.
So more of people, Denzel, coming to Africa to actually stay and enjoy African wellness indigenous treatments. That's what we need to start packaging, and then the media needs to highlight that. I think Denzel wanted BC to answer this question as well, and she's on now. So BC, if you can just go ahead and tell us what your thoughts are on Denzel's question, or Denzel, you can repeat the question.
Oh, very quickly. Yeah, I was talking about, what is your understanding of wellness, particularly in relation to Africa, because it's not just a word, it's very loosely used, and everybody adds their, tags and stuff because it'll get another hit or whatever. But what do you, as an African practicing, what is it? Can you hear me? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Muted. We can't hear you.
Okay, we'll just wait for BC to get her audio settled in. Yeah. So
Lisa?
Denzel.
Well, what shall we ask Lisa, or do you want to move on?
Okay, try again, BC.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, for me, when we talk about wellness, I always want to also go to what exactly the definition of wellness, what exactly does that mean? And it says wellness itself, is, according to WHO, says wellness is a state of being in good health, especially as a actively pursue goal. So when it comes to wellness, especially with African and being an African and having an organization, a company here as a wellness company, I always think about it as a way to, number one, to make sure that we're promoting good health. So we're talking about any kind of preventive medicine or preventive measures. And also when you say good health, what exactly is good health means? It means social, physical, mental well-being. And in order for us to have good social, physical well-being, that means that wellness, especially in Africa, we have to embed all these elements into whatever we're doing in terms of wellness tourism. So when I say come to wellness tourism is, travel to maintain, to manage and improve our health and well-being. Whatever way we're doing that is wellness. And it doesn't have to be, even though in Africa, it is something that we can do through health, spirituality, exploration, which is what I call it. So anything that involves you or anything that involves monitoring, managing your overall wellness, that exactly is wellness tourism. Something that motivates or desire for healthy living, disease prevention, stress reduction, management of poor lifestyle habits, authentic experiences. Those are wellness tourism. Activities that are proactive, voluntary, non-invasive, non-medical in nature. That exactly is what we call wellness tourism. So anything that involves that and bringing people to experience that in Africa, that to me is wellness tourism. And when we talk about medical tourism, it's more of a travel for treatment, for diagnosis, disease, ailment, a condition to seek treatment. So when it comes to more of, we're seeking treatment, which is motivated by maybe low cost of care from whatever country, Africa, that people are coming to or going away from. When you think about even having higher quality of care, maybe for better access of care, and even, something that's not available to other people and able to get in other countries, in other African countries. I think that's that's the difference between wellness tourism and medical tourism. And of course, with medical tourism, it's usually more reactive to the illnesses. It's medically necessary, and it's usually invasive and overseen by a doctor. And or now we call them healthcare providers. So it could be a doctor, it could be some kind of I don't know. Nowadays we're into IV treatment, whatever the case may be, that would help heal. Is wellness, well-being. Is that different between wellness tourism and medical tourism?
So BC, while we have you on, I think also if you mentioned preventative and good health. So for the African, if we just focus on Africa, what Denzel's question was, which was African wellness tourism, do you have any examples of what people could start packaging for that long-term stay that Ola was talking about early on? Because that's what they come for, and that's what also Lisa Fickle has mentioned in research. That's what people are looking to Africa for now. They want something different. They want something that's indigenous and from us, from Africa. So do you have any examples of what those could be, of treatment therapies?
Yes. So, I mean, when it comes to that, especially with African, I always think of Africa as the mother nature, where we nurture other people and we take care of other people. And so putting that into a package is something that is holistic in terms of someone comes in, and we have a few medical facilities that are doing that. Someone comes in and literally a wellness company take care of them from when they step out of the airport till they go back. So that includes someone coming in, they come in, they arrive, they pick them from the airport, take them to their hotel, which a lot of time now we're talking about, there's holistic hotels where you have it could be a spa where they can make sure that they are not stressed out, making sure their food is planned out for them, exactly organic food or farm to kitchen food that is holistic, that's healthy for them. So packaging all these things from transportation to the hotel they're going to be staying to transporting them from the hospital to the doctor's appointment. all these little things planned out in a package is what I think will transfer, will change the way people see Africa in general. Because what we do is we're modernist, we cater for people. So really, we need to get to that point that we're packaging all these elements, not just the medical or just the procedures, but from A to Z, and having that package as a wellness company. I think that will make significant improvement, because we know how that could be. Even they talk about punctuality, for example, making sure they get to their hospital appointment on time, making sure that their food is there when they need to, making sure that even using organic products, maybe having, I don't like the words to use shangomas, but they have all those people that also use traditional natural supplements that we can embed into our organization to help people feel better holistically as they seek medical treatments and enhancement as well.
I think you should feel more than free to mention them because they are part of our heritage. Denzel and I have actually talked about that many times over the years and how amazing that could be when you walk into an African spa, that people can get to experience that. But this brings me to my next question, which is, because you mentioned packaging and journey and the pricing. So what came to mind is pricing. Obviously, who's going to buy it? So should investors be taking more interest in investing in the African wellness landscape and professionals? Susan, I think I would like to hear from you first on this. What should investors do to start weighing in on this landscape of professionals in the wellness industry?
Thank you for that question. And I've seen Lucy there, and Lucy Macredis, and I was looking at investor. I think she could come after I speak. But Africa Wellness tourism market is it obviously is segmented into travel. There's domestic, there's international, there's the tour operations, there's restaurants, there's hotel. So it's a wide variety. And when we speak of investment, all these are possible or potential investors in this. And that is why when there's a multi investor maybe look at the wellness, it will be good that there's this hotel or this accommodation facility, be it a B&B or a hotel or a resort, or just someone's probably an apartment that someone has made into homestay for people coming for specific reasons. If there could be that margin so that the tour operator, as BC said, if the person meeting this tourist, now we are talking wellness tourism, meeting this tourist, having prior information about the wants, the likes, and how they want their special needs, it would be good that the tour operations, the accommodation place, and even the travel bit of tourism and the entertainment. Maybe there's someone who wants just to come and immerse themselves in the soft meditation. And we know, like in Kenya, there's a place where people do mud baths. So it's the prior knowledge of your customer then will inform the investor. And the pricing, as you have put it, the pricing then is dictated by what are you giving, because you can't price something, you can't put a value to something unless it is well defined and you know exactly what you're offering. So that is how I look at the investor perspective of this. And the investor, again, needs not to work in silo, needs not to work alone, needs to know who else is informing my product. I'm offering this, I'm investing in it, but is it going to work? And who do I need to have my investment then give me profits for that? Investment as well is, this is a niche if I can look at it. So how can this wellness tourism be looked at? And as a niche market, just like the way sustainable tourism has become the in thing, and this is the next thing after sustainable tourism. So within my operations, and this has been brought, there's an opportunity now because of the COVID-19 where you can actually put your product online just to tease out the market. And from that is where you can create the interest. So the investor will be informed by the interest of the people that are traveling. And it doesn't hurt right now to say, hey, you know, we've been marketing and we say our source market, for example, is the US. What is the new US traveler would like to see, even to do when they come to Africa, perhaps when they come to Kenya? What do they exactly want to do? Because we need to depart from the old way of doing this business. We need to invest. And in my view, investment as it is right now is not so much, especially when we have the digital space. You can put this thing on the digital space and you interest slowly by slowly. So it's not a hard capital investment, in my view. It is just twisting and changing and creating a niche for wellness tourism. I hope I've tried to.
Yes, definitely. You've definitely nailed it. I love the fact that it's being informed, you know, the investors being informed by the people, and also the tour operators getting involved and informing the investors. I think that's key. And the fact that you mentioned the niche market, which is simple, it can just easily be twisted. But I also wanted to say about the sustainable wellness industry is also happening, because we have the Green Spa Africa, who does sustainability and can grade spas on that. But I wanted to hear from Lisa. Lisa, through your research at the university, what are you seeing in regards to the interest in investors, if any?
Oh, sorry, was muted. Thank you very much. That's a difficult question to answer, because it really depends. Like when you take an enterprise during the last 2 years, they had the best times money-wise ever, like in all the spas, hotels with wellness facilities, etc. And they all invested by themselves. However, I know from some huge investors that they are doing an investment because they know it's kind of the future, but they don't really like to talk about the word wellness because it's so unclear defined here, because we also, what you all said before, we have this question like since years now, what is wellness? What is wellness tourism? Everybody has something else in their mind. So you're like, and I think I'm not sure if you ever find an answer on that, what really wellness is for everybody, because as they said, you can do it passively or actively. So, but to come back to the question, sorry, I think investors are planning on investing even more, but not so much on the medical tourism part, so more on the wellness tourism part, because they can see the rise and they can see the potential. And I'm also working on some studies where we try to get research on how, for example, natural resources, for example, climate or trees, can support mental well-being. So there are investors, but I think it's at the beginning at the moment. It's not like on the peak now.
Right. And okay, thank you for that, Lisa. I'll come back to you. Ola, would you like to weigh in on this? Just really quick.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, an investor will come and invest in any products, any service that they, really see value in. So take something valuable to an investor, and well packaged. I think we've actually all said it in here, that what really, what needs to happen with wellness tourism in Africa is packaging. We need to, have the products. Now, let me just quickly say this, because, we're talking about, wellness tourism, overall. But there are certain things, because I need for us to look into, how is African wellness tourism different? Because really we need to be different to, okay, what do they have in Barbados, or what do they have, elsewhere? Do you understand? We need to be different. So we have those indigenous, materials that we have, our plants, our water. We have places in Africa where you have, they're actually hot and cold springs together. They meet at a point, extremely, healing and therapeutic, etc. So we need to, have investors coming to invest in this can I say, the primary products. Do you understand the price? Because I mean, the wellness tourism is actually a secondary product. It's something that you are selling. So we need to develop the primary products. And I know that there have been talks. I know that for sure, because I've sat in the councils and all talking about investing in how to develop even some of our plants and our herbs, etc. So we need to really look for investors into those sectors.
Absolutely, I agree with that. It's, how do we tap into investors? That's the question coming from the audience, to support the wellness tourism in Africa. I think that question was to Lisa. Lisa, do you have a quick answer to that before I just move on to the next question, which then maybe you could also answer, which regards, will we see wellness centers in Africa offer treatments paid in crypto? Because obviously we have a few countries now dealing with cryptocurrency. Do you feel through research that that's going to also, and we have wellness centers everywhere now selling their treatments via crypto. So do you think we'll see that?
Yes, I saw that a couple of countries already use the crypto currency. However, I personally believe it's not going to be the trend of tomorrow, especially not in the wellness branch. And I think with everything happening around the world, with the war, etc., I think people are getting more and more careful. Also with all the digitalization, with all the spams and everything you get. So I wouldn't say that, like, maybe in 20 years, if everything is more secure or has regulations, but I think for now, it's probably not a good choice. Like, I'm sure there are probably some huge companies which might use it, but I think for the normal people like we are, I'm not sure if this is really going to be the future.
Okay, does anyone want to comment? I can see Susan's nodding.
Please tell us, Susan.
We also have BC. Yeah, here we go, guys. Go on.
I'm nodding because it's a reality that cryptocurrency, as it is right now, has not been accepted as yet because of the safety part of it. For example, even we're trying to do online payments, even on Visa and all that, and it's still a very unsafe and unsecured space. So I think in 20 years, maybe put 21, we'll get there. But right now, there's no assurance because, as Ola said, of course, there's the mother tourism activity, and this is a niche inside a bigger ball. If the mother has not actually accepted cryptocurrency, and then this one is a long way coming, but we cannot give up hope. Things change. It doesn't matter. Change is constant. Maybe one day we'll get there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, BC. Did you want to weigh in?
I mean, I think they said it all. It's well, I mean, maybe next 20, 30 years, that's possible. But I feel like besides the security, the policy and everything going on, it's going to take a while, and it's going to kind of saturate the Western world more before we can probably see it in Africa. And because right now with crypto, it's more for investment for us in Africa. It's a way to build our platform. It's a way to build wealth. It's not a form we see as payment. It's not something that we want to use now. It's something that we want to invest in for our future, because we are building. A lot of us in Africa are still building, more than in building wealth. So I feel like we're not in that mindset yet when we think this can be used on a day-to-day basis, until probably it's accepted everywhere else and we see it before we can embed that into our culture, into our plan or payment plan. But it will get there. We will get there.
So maybe hopefully with the fintech companies, they might speed up things a bit, right? Because we're having these hubs now in Africa. So I would have loved to have a fintech person comment on this, but we don't unfortunately have that person here. Okay, so Denzel, do you have a question that you want to go into before I go into the last question? You're on mute, yeah. Yeah.
So I think the question I would like to ask all four was, we've talked about Africa's got it all. I mean, I've lived in an African village, so I know what African wellness in a village can be. So I know what you're talking about. But that's easy to say, but what are we going to, and it's very different from wherever we are. There are certain common features, but I would love to know, give me your three, most important things. USP, the unique selling point. What would the unique selling point of African wellness be to you in your area? And I can start with Susan, just because, what would be for you the three key things that we can go out and sell it, because you just said it all. You've got to package it. It's got to be conceived. It's got to be put together. Otherwise, it's all going to be a lot of talk and not much going to happen on the ground. So we've got to identify those and concretize those unique selling points.
Okay, thank you for that tricky question. But it gets me thinking. The three things I'll say is, first, define what wellness tourism is. Find a place for it in the existing investment of tourism. Then after that, get into the media. Media is from the conventional media to social media, and it has to be owned by someone. And I'm glad that there's already an organization that is putting this together. So there has to be a leader in it. And as I said, next is to sensitize the market of already the existing tourism, the existing medical tourism. There's opportunity working together with the dietitian, the nutritionist, all that defines wellness, all the links that bring us to the wellness tourism. So if there's that network, it will sensitize people to understand, because perchance if I didn't come into this conversation, I wouldn't have thought so much about the wellness tourism. So the conversation is very timely, and it needs now to continue, and so that we sensitize the already existing people that are doing it or could consider adding that into their operation or their packaging, and that probably, as I said, it's a niche that it could be actually one that either complements or is another arm of tourism. It could complement, because people will come on safari. You've already known what each group, organic group, would like to do. You could suggest a few twists and turns here and there and change the whole conversation about tourism, bring in the aspect of sustainability, of the wellness and all that. And lastly is the policy aspect of this, because we take cognizance that policy also really drives the investment, because if there is no clear clarity of the investment in this particular wellness tourism is going to bring policy issues from the government perspective, then the private investor will not be able to do so. If we clarify and from, I'm challenging now the wellness tourism, the body here, that just go ahead and look into it. And from this conversation, where next? Who else do we need to bring in? Who are the opinion makers? Who are the movers of opinions? And then we can work from there. Those are my 3.5. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
They're really useful. But just, I was actually more trying to say, what do you think are the special, unique features? We'll come on to it. I mean, I'm looking out the window now, and if you ask me what the special wellness features of Barbados, I would say the people, the weather, and the sea. Yeah. Put it very simply. These three things together make it extraordinary. Yeah, you understand?
Yeah, definition, policy, and investment.
Okay. Well,
thank you.
BC, what about you? What do you, I mean,
definitely.
I have a look at policy, but I was more, what is the special, what makes Africa, what are we going to be able to sell that's different from everything else?
I mean, I feel like we are already selling it. Africa, it's mother nature. We are mothers. We cater for people. That is what we do. So hospitality is number one. This is what we do. We cater for people. It reminds me of my grandmother. Even as a young child, my grandmother coming from the village and bringing food and foodstuff and clothing and snacks, something that reminds you of home. And that's what I think we have. The benefit that we have nature. Look at South Africa, for example, mountains, ocean. I mean, what else do you need? So I definitely feel like it's the landscape, number one, hospitality, number two, and what else? We give unique experiences as well. But I feel like hospitality is one of the things that we overlook sometimes, because we seem to think like hospitality of westernized world, but we have our own special way of hospitality in which we embrace people, embrace different culture, embrace different religion. And I think that's a great unique offer proposition that we carry as African, that we need to perpetrate more for other people to see who we are. So hospitality, our nature, our landscape, and also we can offer these unique experiences in like food. We have amazing food, local foods. We have, spice markets that you can go to and all that stuff. So I feel like we have a lot of unique proposition for people to see and visit Africa.
Great.
Ola?
Ola, go ahead. Ola.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think, number one, we have things that you can never get anywhere else in the world. So we have foods you can never get. There's actually a craze. I was actually, just this morning, I thought, I have this webinar, so actually, I actually invited a friend, but he has some sessions today. So he's a naturopath or whatever, however they call them. Now, so I was talking about, do you know something? We have certain unique things in Africa, and they are so expensive here, but to us, we have it. We've been eating them. We didn't realize that they were so medicinal. So now they now have the craze. One of it is something like soursop. Soursop grows at the back of your house, in your garden, etc. So now it is. Now they've actually found that this thing actually cures, cancer more than whatever they use. Do you understand? In curing, so things like that. So we have the landscape. I mentioned this earlier, BC just said it again. And if I can share, in fact, I was actually looking for some things, and we have this. Do you understand? Can you guys see? We have, this is a landscape. This is actually Sao Tome and Principe, which I said to you earlier, that if you're looking for a destination that is actually just, just has it all, for wellness tourism, this is actually one place that I will put my money down anytime. So who will see this and not want to go? Do you understand? And you actually know that spring you're in is actually one spring that has its own therapeutic elements, and healing elements in it. So yeah, I'm actually trying to stop this share, see if I can. Yeah. Do you understand? So we have all that. So we have the foods, we have our drinks, we have our natural herbs, we have our special plants. That there's a drink, that cuts across West Africa. And in fact, it might probably cut across Africa generally. In Nigeria, it's called Zobo. You've in Senegal, it's called actually, Hassan, you're on here, maybe you can help me. But it's actually made from
Bissap.
Yeah, Bissap. Thank you. Yes, that's right. Bissap.
Sorrel, we call it Jamaican here in
yes, etc. So we have all these things in abundance, and we have so many more. And if you want to get high as well, we have the natural palm wine, all natural, nothing, whatever. So get your kick. Yes, so we have it all.
I love it. Love it. So much to offer, honestly. Denzel, does that answer your question?
So, quick comment, Lisa.
Thank you. I make it really short. For me, as an outstanding, I would definitely also say nature and landscape. I think the tradition and the culture, so the mentality and everything. And the third one would be, for me, it's really authentic. It's nothing played. It's real. Thank you.
Fantastic. I just wanted to highlight that I think Susan mentioned earlier on to Denzel's question when he asked. So there is a definition for what wellness tourism is right here on the Global Wellness Institute. And it says, it defines wellness tourism as travel associated with the pursuit of maintaining or enhancing one's personal well-being. So it's very important to have that general definition, but then to sort of define within that, what could Africa's offer be? And now we've just heard all the different things we can offer, and we've also seen a beautiful example that Ola shared with us. I just feel like diving in there after drinking some Zobo, definitely. So yeah, so it brings me to my last question here, which is, you know, do we currently have any African wellness companies building global standards for global audiences? Because I know that on our chat we had someone, I think it's Lena, yeah, asking about you know, the standards and how we're going to go about that. So do we have those standards, Ola? Maybe I'll start with you. Global standards.
Well, now this is the thing, because again, I'm going to take us, you know, to what we had said earlier, that it needs packaging. Because I mean, in a place where you have that's probably for the definition of, yeah. So in a place where you have everything, but yet, you know, people still do not know that you're there or that you have those things. So it needs packaging, because we do have outstanding results. Now, I'll give an example again. So someone once said that I've actually colonized them in Sao Tome and Principe. And I like to call it my island because I just love it. It's just so peaceful and just so lovely. A lot of people haven't heard of it, so we're really pushing and letting people know of it. There's a resort there called Praia Inami. Sorry, it's Portuguese, whatever, but Praia Inami, and it's actually by the I think near the Rolas Island in Sao Tome, and it is an ecotourism, you know, wellness resort. All the foods, you know, served are actually planted there. They're harvested, so it's offered. Well, all of the foods anyhow in South Sudan are actually all fresh. So if you actually want to eat fish, it's actually catch of the day. If you actually want to, you know, eat pineapple, you actually just, you know, pluck it, you know, from the garden. Do you understand? So all the foods, you know, that are served are actually from the, you know, plantation and the, you know, farms, you know, and it's all nature based. So I mean, and it is actually to, you know, international standards or global standards, as you might say it. And people do go there, you know, for wellness and for relaxation and things like that. So so we actually do have some places. We still need more, and we need to, you know, kind of like package them, because there are a lot of resorts, as I said earlier, that are spa resorts, and they have all the, I mean, everything necessary for, you know, for wellness tourism or for wellness tourists, yes, you know, so to say. So, you know, people, again, it goes back to the media thing. People need to know of them. We need to package them well so that they're well sold and people actually know that, yes, you actually have this thing in this place. Yeah.
Okay. Ola, could you share the link or the name of the resort, just so our audiences can also see what you're referring to? Okay.
Yeah, I need to get
the yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so let me, because the spelling, you yeah, I mean, I'll type. If you don't get it right, you can probably just put,
yeah, just in the chat box. Yeah,
but I'll try and put it.
Okay, thanks. And BC, what is your do you want to add to that? Sorry, yeah, you're on mute. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot. I mean, I don't have a lot of specific, but I've seen so many wellness companies in Africa that definitely have global standard. I mean, I could think of one here in Johannesburg. There's a place called the Farmhouse, which is on the Curiosity, and pretty much everything they do is eco-friendly. From the farm to table, all the meals are planted by them. Everything everything they use in that wellness location is provided by the locals. Everything. So it's eco-friendly. The food is fresh right from the farm to table to kitchen. The rooms are eco-friendly, made of natural materials. The soap, everything is done in makeup. So those are the things that we have, and there's so many of those now. Like I said, we just need to able to get the media to understand more, to get it out there. And thankfully, I think you've mentioned about technology. Technology is the key right now to get ourselves out there, because we do have that, and not only just any but global standard. That's even way better. If you think about South Africa in general, for example, you can go to a South African bathroom and lick the floor in the hotel. Like, you can lick the floor. You don't see that in westernized country, and it's as nasty as anything. I've been everywhere. But in South Africa, if you go to the bathroom, you would think you're in some 5-star resort sometimes. So we do have all these things that it's already global standard. We just have to find a way to package it and show the world, showcasing more to the world what we have to offer.
That's fantastic. I love that you mentioned the floors are lickable. I mean, especially after pandemic. No, seriously, Denzel, I know you're laughing, but honestly, the medical grade hygiene went way up in African countries, especially the spas, and that was one of the questions that I actually asked the global industry. Why did we not maybe utilize our therapists a lot more during the pandemic? Because they're trained in hygiene, so they could have helped the nurses and all the COVID workers a lot more, rather than them just sitting at home. But anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. Thanks, BC, for that. Okay, Susan, go ahead.
Thank you. I'll say from start, would maybe do to identify the existing products, because I can hear there's really things happening. As I said earlier, we have them, only that we have not probably named them or put them together or as in packaged. So it's to identify the existing products and activities and that are specifically unique to Africa, because then we are talking about Africa wellness. So if we know in which country, like in Kenya, if we know what exists under wellness tourism, then we are able to direct immediately to turn it into business or into to the wellness product and sell it. And then also we need to pay attention to inclusivity. And inclusivity, I mean, we need to bring in consideration people living with disability, and we need to bring out the youth. We also need to consider the disposable income that we are dealing with in each destination, and can we afford, but not to lose focus, not only to bring people from outside to enjoy or to understand the wellness tourism, is also to focus on the domestic and the region that we operate in, so that we create that market first. And it's nothing better that when they say charity begins at home, if I understand what product there is, and on my social media, I go for that wellness safari, I go for a wellness tourism, and I post on my social media. Mostly I do Facebook. If there's that, then coming from within, I can only trust something from someone who's experienced it. So pictures and photos and people talking about this, it's the quickest turnaround for me towards wellness tourism. So yeah, that is what I'd like to add into the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Denzel.
Yes, sorry, can I
go
just
ahead?
quickly,
yeah, Ola.
Now, can I just buttress it on what Susan said? That look, charity does begin at home. And this is one thing that we have been advocating. Now, for example, in West Africa, we encourage. In fact, we have projects now. To kind of like make people, West Africans, travel within West Africa. Then we're now expanding it actually to Africa. As actually, I think when I first met Susan, it was kind of like to discuss partnership, which they actually even did come back. I think an organization that she used to be part of as well. That similar to WATO, but in West Africa. And so we need to work together. We need to put synergies. And I mean, one thing I always say to my people, and a song I always sing, is that, listen, we need to work together. You know, everybody can bake a cake and eat it, but when we bake a bigger cake, we'll actually all have bigger slices of that cake. So it doesn't make sense, just trying to do something, whatever. We need to encourage each other. I mean, there are actually a lot of things I actually participate in, events or whatever, and I do not talk just for West Africa. Obviously, I represent West Africa, but when I see the need of plugging, Kenya, I do. As a matter of fact, I do that on a regular basis. My friends from Zimbabwe know, I mean, even Kenya in December recently. So we need to, do all those things and kind of like, pull synergy, together.
Fantastic. I think that's a really brilliant addition, Ola. Thank you for that. Again, working together is key, and on these platforms we need to understand how we can do that. I love the fact that we are considering, from Susan's point as well, the policy, creating a policy that governments can work with. And where does it start? It starts right here. So I'm sure Lena, our chair, is taking notes on this, and we could probably set that, start that, because it will then obviously get seen by the Kenyan Tourism Federation, and they can vet it, and they can be vetted by Zimbabwe or West African countries through Ola. And then that is how it starts. And then we can push that to the investors, which Lisa also mentioned are available and what they want to see, and then finally get that through media. I think this, guys, I think we're getting somewhere now. Denzel? Yeah, you're on.
Sorry, welcome, Stella.
It is hello.
A lot of Stella is from Ghana. I told you a lot of people, actually got the time wrong. Even I gave people the wrong time. Sorry, it's actually an earlier event.
Anyway,
so you can unmute now.
Yeah. Sure, go ahead, Denzel.
I mean, as my closing remark, I think the point about inclusivity is very important. Africa is different. There are a lot of problems. I am known to be, controversial in looking at wellness and unwellness, because we have to consider there are a lot of unwell people. So inclusivity is a very important aspect. So it needs to be part of the special feature, if you like, the way it's done. So in other words, the method in which we run a spa, run a tour program, how it's including people, how is the money distributed. Yes, you have to think of that probably more carefully than somebody in Switzerland does. I would guess.
Yeah.
I think that's the point.
And
that's all
Lisa?
I have to say.
Okay, thanks, Denzel. Lisa, what's your closing remark?
Thank you very much. I think even having this initiative, the African Wellness Initiative, is like the best first step you can do. Get people aware of the topic, get maybe who knows what we will do in the next years, maybe open up some little communities within the different countries in Africa and start by that. Like, I think we have to start really on the scratch and also talk with the government and really go into policies before even thinking the big picture yet. Like, of course you can, but I think you have to start really on the ground first.
Thank you, Lisa. BC? Your closing remarks. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for having me, and sorry for coming late. But in my closing remark, I would definitely say, I think we're starting on the right path. Like I think Silas just said, we are having this conversation, which is how it all begins. We have the conversation, education, and number two, we educate each other. I think someone made a suggestion in terms of partnership, because it takes a village. And I think that's what we're trying to just start building together as people on the continent, and start working together, identifying investors, because that's a huge part of what we're looking for. And some of us within ourselves, there are also investors that we don't even know of, but they can only know by us educating them about what exactly we're all about. So I think having this conversation, collaboration, partnership, policy making, especially when it comes to medical tourism as well. In Africa, there's so much Africa can offer, and we need to have policies to be able to get more people in, because we're able to provide that in this multi-trillion-dollar business. So I think if we continue to do that, starting what we're doing right now, you know, the sky is just the beginning for Africa.
Wonderful. Great. Thanks, BC. And Susan, your closing remarks. Oh, Susan has jumped off. Okay, Ola, your closing remarks.
Yeah, I'm all for, you know, partnerships. I mean, it is actually a great thing. And personally, I mean, today wasn't actually very convenient, you know, to actually be part of this. But I'd already said, in fact, I felt like, I was like, no, I'm not going to say no to Elaine again. You know, so I was like, I had to, you know, be here because I know the importance of supporting an initiative, especially one that is, you know, very good and that, I mean, that you actually see value in. And I mean, really, you know, kudos to you guys. Well done, you know, for, you know, taking the initiative to actually set up or start this initiative, you know, so well done, you know, and you have a backing, you have my backing, and you have, you know, a backing definitely at Watto, you know, and we will do all possible best, you know, to see how we can support. So I think, you know, people should, I mean, anyone that can really throw their weight behind to support should, you know, really support. And already I was actually thinking, I mean, I think there was a question, and I mean, because I know of some conversations that have been going on, especially when I said, you know, investing into developing, you know, packaging, even our herbs, you know, plants, etc. You know, there have been, I mean, there are talks going on. So I can introduce you guys to, you know, some of those, you know, big shots, you know, and all, and let's just see how we can, you know, really, you know, support.
Fantastic, Ola. So happy for that remark, and we appreciate definitely WATO's support right here today, being confirmed by you. Thank you so much. And I just want to say, Ola, I contacted you in June because I remember in the beginning of this session you mentioned you couldn't remember. So it was June 2020. So it's 2 years ago now almost. So we're very happy to have you here. Okay, great. Am I missing anyone? Okay, so
Susan's back on. Yeah.
Susan's back.
Susan is back on. Okay, great. Susan, your closing remarks, please.
Thank you. And yeah, sorry, I had a drop off, but I would like to say, as I began, that it's a good step that this conversation is taking, and we shouldn't let it stop at this today. It needs now to progress forward from here. And we need to put action to somebody, because if everyone is doing everything, then no one will do anything. So yeah, it's good to know who's doing what and what should be done, and probably just have a milestone, just ticking our milestones, and maybe continuing with this conversation, could be on email, could be on WhatsApp. Just say, okay, we had this conversation, and I think would you be able to do ABC? And let's then maybe have a promise to get back together and see between today and the next time what could we have achieved today. That's it from me, and thank you for having me in this conversation. Really, thank you very much, and looking forward to more. Thank you.
Thank you for that amazing comment, and definitely. Lena and I will be getting back to everyone on this particular pillar, wellness tourism, and those of you who are here today to definitely put together an action plan, because we don't want to just have this talk, as Denzel said earlier on. We can't just have it as talk. We need to also act on it and ensure that these things come to fore. And also when BC mentioned it is important as well for investors, and there are investors out there that we may know of, so they need to hear these things from us. So getting that action plan together, definitely. And I just wanted to say before we round up here that for all of the AWI pillars, which is on the Global Wellness Institute, you can go to the link that's been shared here and read about them and get to know the pillars. This one is called Wellness Tourism. I'm so happy that you all could attend from all over the world. Brilliant guys, and it's a pleasure to meet some of you as well. Thank you so much, and have a lovely evening, and I'll be getting in touch with all of you again. Definitely.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Susan again.
Guys.
And thanks to my guests
And
that
time
showed
really
up.
flew by.
Absolutely. It flew by like that.
Bye
Yes.
bye.
Bye. Bye.
Yes, bye.